Hello, welcome back to another diary entry for the week of the 3rd. Let's just dive right into it. On the week, I closed with a minus $263 loss for closed P&L. And I just want to start off with that is extremely deceptive because it hides a lot of story. And so we'll get into the story of what exactly that entails. This was a pretty difficult week for me, not in terms of like the trading itself, but I had some work and life stuff going on, and my head was not as in the game, so I was trading a little less, and my decision making was not as great. I will just admit that off the bat. I won't say that's a great excuse, but it's kind of what happened. So let's get into the main event. I had a realized $3,400 loss on NBIS. So what happened here? I've been in NBIS for a while. Have some shares from way back in here, and I was selling calls down through here, through this drop. It had a really nice bounce. I was about to break even, and I didn't exit up here. My head was not in the game these couple days. I just held it, and it continued to drop. And so I was like, okay, through this drop, as I was slowly getting in here, it was breaking through this 50-day moving average, and I just capitulated on Friday, and I sold around here, maybe 103, 104-ish, and I realized a $3,400 loss on half my shares, so 100 shares, which, pretty painful because it bounced for the rest of the day and continued running after hours to like 114, 115. So it bounced $10 from where I sold it on the same day. And that's not a great feeling, but I still have 100 shares left. And one of the reasons why I was so freaking out about this was because earnings are on Tuesday, and I don't really want to hold through earnings because it can go both directions so easily. Earnings are a very binary event. It doesn't matter. They could be overwhelmingly beating expectations and the stock would drop with great guidance. They could have really horrible guidance and the stock could rocket 20%. They're really unreasonable. And so I was like, how do I exit this whole week as it's been dropping? And at the same time, I was also selling calls and buying them back for a loss. It was just not a great thing. So I was just like, okay, let me get rid of half my position right here. And I'll just deal with the pain. So I did. And I still have 100 shares that I'm holding currently. I'm hoping that this bounce is it looks like a really nice bounce as well with the broader market. We had a really nice bullish hammer coming off the 50-day moving average on the S&P 500. And we have news that the government is reopened, I think. Could be totally wrong. Let me double check that. Oh, never mind. It's not reopened yet. I'm spreading misinformation out here. For some reason, I thought I saw an article that said, 4 hours ago, the Senate is back open, but I guess not. All right. But yeah, hopefully that gets some resolution next week. But regardless, the technical analysis is showing, okay, we have some support at the 50-day moving average. Hopefully NBIS will also bounce with it. And I'm hoping that I can exit before earnings. Maybe it'll get to the 120 area on Monday, and I can exit for a smaller loss than I did on Friday. The flip side is, okay, if it doesn't really bounce, I may still just exit. I may sell a call into earnings in hopes that it'll bounce and I'll collect the premium plus whatever's there. I'm not in a super great position here. But yeah, that was the most difficult thing for me this week, was dealing with my position on NBIS. And it wasn't a complete disaster. The reason I'm not down several $1,000s and I'm only down 300 is because of a couple things. One of them was I did have a gain on the calls that I sold last week on NBIS. So I had $1,000 gain on the covered calls to mitigate some of the losses. And I did sell a bunch of premium this week. Actually, we'll get into the premium selling later. And then I had a couple of decent day trades. I didn't take too many this week because again, my head was not in the game. But I had a really nice day trade on Hood up here at the 50-day moving average. You can see I tried to enter here, it didn't work, and then I re-entered down here, and I had a really nice $150, $200 gain in this area. Okay, so what else happened where I was able to mitigate my losses to such a degree? The main thing was selling premium, selling options premium. I'm really falling in love with mostly selling put premium on really strong stocks. One of them, the biggest one, was Bloom Energy, and I'm continuing to sell puts on Bloom Energy. You can see that the market was pulling back all last week, and what did BE do? BE was holding really, really strongly, and on Friday, after the market bounce, boom, it really bounced as well. So yeah, I was trying to sell more actually on Friday, and I didn't have enough cash to cover the cash secured puts. But hopefully I'll have some going into Monday, into next week. I can sell some more. But the premiums are very high on this stock right now, and there's very strong technical support to back the trade. I'm going to try to keep selling premium here. I also entered a decently large position on Hood on Thursday. So on Thursday, this is a sell-off after earnings for some reason, and it got back to VWAP, and I was like, okay, it's back at VWAP. So I entered 300 shares total, and I sold calls on them at a higher level because it's like, okay, it'll bounce and I can make a few $100s, great. But it kept selling, and I was like, well, that's not good. So on Friday, I bought back the call premium that I sold for a cent. So I just exited for full profit pretty much. And then with the market bounce, Hood also bounced really nicely back above the 50-day moving average. And I've sold calls on them expiring Friday at the 136 strike, but I might reel them back in to let Hood run a little more before I resell calls, just to let the shares run a little bit. But yeah, I want to keep it more short term, so I'll see what Monday brings. I also increased my Google position. I've talked about this every single week that I really like Google. You can see during the market pullback, it did not go anywhere. It stayed even above the 5-day moving average for during like one of the worst days. Thursday, it was up when the market was down. And then it was only Friday when it pulled back quite a bit. And even then, it's still above the 10-day moving average. And so this is, again, a really strong stock. I added 2 long contracts on Google this week, and these are contracts expiring March. So they're longer term contracts. And I have a total of 8, I think now. So it's getting to be a pretty large position. Yeah, I like the stock. What can I say? Yeah, so pretty much selling that premium mitigated my losses on NBIS. It's not a week that I'm particularly proud of or happy with because of where I exited on NBIS, how I didn't manage that very well. But I'm going to not let it ruin like my next trading week coming this week. I'm not going to let it seep into my mental, if you will. Sometimes you have down weeks. It's all right. My mental was not in the right spot. I'm going to let this one slide for myself and just make sure I'm focused moving forward. Where do I see stuff going from here? I'm leaning more towards the bullish side after the price action we saw on Friday. You see this is really nice buy volume, filled the gap completely, and then some. So yeah, hopefully this buoys the rest of the market, including the stocks I own. I'll still be looking to sell put premium. I'll be looking to get a little more long. I covered most of the stuff that I had open already. The stuff that I haven't covered is Intel. I got assigned 700 shares of Intel at 39.5. Not too worried with a government reopening. I think Intel will benefit from that, and I'll probably sell calls about my entry price or my assignment price, or maybe a little higher. I also sold a put on Ciena Corporation because, as you can see, this is another stock that really held through the market pullback. Like Thursday, it was up as well when the market was down, and Friday, boom. Didn't even break the 10-day moving average. So this is just a really, really nice stock. Another stock I'm interested in is Seagate. Seagate's another stock that is very similar. It's held a lot through earnings. After earnings, super strong. I really like this. I don't have enough capital to enter put at this point, but this is another really strong stock that I've been eyeballing. But yeah, that's about all my open positions. I don't have that many open right now, so looking forward to a strong week. Hopefully the market is kind to us. Yeah, I'll stop yapping here. Good luck. See you guys next week. Make sure to like and subscribe or whatever the hell you want to do. Maybe I'll see you next week.